So we're going to talk about Sweet Baby Inc. and how, frankly, wokeness is a loser mentality. I'm just going to come out and say it. If you believe this set of radical leftist views, you have the mentality of a loser because you believe that other people, usually other races, are the reason for your failure or your lack of success in life. That's a loser mentality. And what happens to the loser mindset? Well, it results in losing, and that's what's happening to Sweet Baby Inc. So, these wackos. Can I just give you one example? Some of these wackos were celebrating. They were taking the opportunity of Akira Toriyama's death to grave dance and to say, well, he also created racist and problematic characters. So, it's like, what else can you describe that except that's evil? That's an evil SOB right there. It's like to have zero compassion for him and his fans, to not be able to take 1 minute out of your day to take a break from your wacko politicization of everything. You can't take a break for 1 minute to just allow us as humans to just, acknowledge the death of a great creator. Usually it's the radical lunatics that change language. They're the ones that take away the language and turn it on its head. They turn literal racism into anti-racism. They turn excluding people because of their skin color or their sexual identity, aka too male and pale is stale, right? They turn that exclusion into inclusion, right? They're the masters of this. That would be far left lunatic wackos. They are the totalitarians. Well, this is the one case where they've gotten hoisted on their own petard because they created this word woke, which meant I am awake. I am aware of all the injustice in the world. I am an angel fighting for the poor, sad, marginalized people who are too weak to help themselves. And I am a brave social justice warrior. I am woke. Well, the problem with being woke is you're nasty. You're a hall monitor. You go around policing people's thoughts. You're mean. And people don't like that. You're not fun. You can't take a joke. Nobody can ever laugh at anything because all those jokes are so problematic. And what's happened is evil is undoing itself. It's undoing itself because everybody, when you say the word woke, everyone knows what that means. An annoying, snotty little hall monitor that nobody wants to hang out with. That's what it means. So trust me, folks, except for the most deluded of them, they hate this word now. They hate it because we have taken it away from them. That would be common sense people, normal people, right? That's what I mean when I say we. We of the fellowship, we of classical nerd culture, which was already inclusive, already diverse, already welcoming of all different walks of life. We, the nerds, are the ones that wanted to go to strange new worlds and experience new culture. We, the nerds, are the ones that wanted to go into fantasy worlds and talk about different races working together to fight goblins or whatever it is. We did that. We wanted badass babes like Sarah Connor and Ellen Ripley and Red Sonja and Kareth Ray Starbuck, and the list goes on. We wanted those characters. We, the nerds, did. So what we have done is we've taken their little word away from them and we've turned it into an albatross hung around their necks. I've set the table for criticizing wokeness and specifically using the word woke is working. And it's not because necessarily it changes the wokies' mind, because it doesn't, because they're loons. But it does make an impact to the general public. Normies understand what woke means. If you tell a normie that they're communists or they're neo-Marxists or they're reverse, racist or whatever it is, like if you use all those terms, the typical normie, their eyes are going to glaze over a little bit. And that's just because to them now you sound like a political ideologue. And when you say woke, though, they're like, oh, you mean those snots that won't let comedians tell jokes? They won't let Dave Chappelle in the building anymore? Yeah, those people. Oh, yeah, I hate those guys. They're really awful. And that's really why the Sweet Baby Inc. story is so important. Because we have shined a light on this one company that has been in a consulting company that has been helping all of these game companies wokeify their games. Oh, you do not have enough strong female women in this, and you have way too many white people in this game, and that's problematic. And there's a lot of like patriotic pro-American stuff in this, and that's bad. You need to take out that American flag, and you need to put in a trans flag. And that's what they do. And they basically get paid millions of dollars to ruin video games, to bankrupt video game companies. Folks, if you think that this isn't happening in Hollywood, if you think this isn't happening everywhere, how did Bud Light get the brilliant idea to team up their bro college, frat boy brand with Dylan Mulvaney in a bubble bath, right? Where did they get that genius idea? Well, folks, these kinds of people are where they get this idea. Imagine setting up a consulting company to give literally the opposite of good advice, and you get paid millions for that. You get paid millions for that. Now, that might sound like, wow, they really, that's smart. They're really smart business people. It's like, but that's the problem. Evil has a way of undoing it, folks. So, hat tip the angriest man on the internet, Ryan Cannell. So he's talking about how you have this Steam group called Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, right? And they're just a list. They just curate a list of games that Sweet Baby Inc. has had their dirty little fingers on, right? Like Suicide Squad kills the Justice League, for example. Or the Spider-Man 2. If you are like me, and you believe in ideas like freedom of thought, freedom of expression, freedom of speech, that is to say that you believe in the social contract, which is, I may disagree with every single thing you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. That is a social contract, which says I am willing to live with people who disagree with me. I am willing to have my ideas challenged in a public square, and I am willing to allow other human beings to make choices for themselves as they see fit. People who love freedom don't ever object to this contract. We don't. Okay? There is nothing about this that should offend Sweet Baby Inc. If there is, well, it could offend them. They could say, I don't like that, but oh well. All they're saying is that people are free to look at it's informed consent. That's all it is. Informed. This is the consent crowd, right? This is I do not consent to a platonic hug. This is the crowd that's all about consent all the time for everything, right? But they aren't about informed consent when it comes to playing their video games. Nothing about this list is stopping anyone from playing the video game. Because, by the way, the wokies love this kind of shit. They love this shit. They start petitions, on petition.org or whatever it is. They start all these. They try and get people deplatformed. But they love little apps. They love little lists that say that, oh, here are all the companies that are involved with alt-right, right-wing, ew, gross white Christians. They like Chick-fil-A, right? Oh, don't buy food from Chick-fil-A because there's white Christians involved with that company. And they're bad and they're ew and gross. They love that shit. They love that shit until one little Steam group decides to do it to them.
That Sweet Baby Inc. is actually involved in. And in the course of a couple days, this went from 6,000 followers to now it's closing in on 200,000 followers, because when you try to censor people, when you try to tell people you're not allowed to criticize us, you're not allowed to simply list the games that we're involved in because we're scared, it's not going to go over well. Sweet Baby Inc. CEO Kim Belair's speech urged employees to terrify video game companies if they don't give you what they want. Sweet Baby Inc. CEO Kim Belair makes it clear the purpose is to forget about gamers entirely and terrorize video game companies in a statement found on X.
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years, put this stuff up to your higher-ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
But can you believe the arrogance of these people? Can you? I said it on my last stream, and thank you to all the new viewers, all the new subscribers. I'm glad to have you here. Welcome to the Captain's Cast with me, your host, Captain Garrett on the Swords of Starships channel. And I had not last week seen these comments, right? But I was reading from their company mission statement on their website, and they had this little line that said, "Our techniques are not strictly corrective." And I'm like, strictly corrective? Who the fuck do you people think you are? How fucking dare you talk to us this way? We, the public, we, the gamers. Who, well, Stalinists speak to people this way. Totalitarians speak to people this way. Dictators speak to people this way. And then I see this. And she's like, if they don't give you what you want, terrify them, threaten them, intimidate them, censor them. Folks, these are evil people. This is evil shit. And it's like, but it's losing. It's losing badly. They tried to get this gamer list canceled on Steam, failed. They failed. They try and claim that we do the same thing. And it's like, we don't, though. We don't, because we're not trying to get this company deplatformed. Now, we are exposing them, and we're allowing the public to decide. And see, that's the thing. In the free market, success, failure, those things are settled without the need for any kind of interference. Those things are settled by customers, by acting of their own free will. We're okay with that social contract. They are not. They can make all the woke lists on Steam. They can make as many lists as they want on Steam that say, here's all the games that are problematic. And here's all the games that are not having enough trans representation in them. And all that sort. And they could put Helldivers 2 on it. They tried, actually. That's another story. They're all big mad at Helldivers 2 because there's no trans flags. There's no trans flags in Helldivers 2 while you're fighting the bugs trying to destroy humanity. It's so ridiculous. So they're big mad about that, right? Now, I just wanted you to see, let me see, did the angriest man on the internet have more to show us? I think he did, so we'll let it run.
This is from 2019. Anita Sarkeesian. Hey, at CD Projekt Red, I'm always available for consulting because it sure sounds like you might need to meet it before the holy internet drags you for what sounds like some potentially sexist representations, which we all know you've struggled with in the past, right? Threatening these developers.
And also, don't fall into this trap that I think a lot of people fall into, which is they think, okay, don't worry. We can include everyone by making this like single default universal experience that is universally representative. Because usually like all that means, as it did in the dating example, is that you're aiming at your core demographic and you're probably invisibly leaning towards the dominant societal voice, even if you don't realize it.
Don't try to make things literally for everybody. Make sure to cater to a very, very small segment of the population. Listen to what she says next.
And if you're in development and you are part of like that dominant voice, you're like a cis hetero white dude or just adjacent to that.
Listen to the derision. Listen to the hatred in her voice. The way that they talk, the way that they talk about human beings. They are either looking down at them in the case of what they consider marginalized groups, or they are sneering at who they consider the oppressor. Like, oh, if you're a cis white dude, ew, gross. It's like, I mean, these are sick people, folks. Wokeness is it is a sick worldview. This is a gross way to look at human beings, in my view.
Do not wait until the end to call your consultants. Bring them in at the beginning, and instead of asking them, hey, is this very racist thing we did very racist? Or is this deeply offensive thing we did deeply offensive? Are you hurt by it? Ask them what they want to see. Like, ask them what would thrill them, what would bring them joy. And if you have a team lead, put that request to them very, very early.
Thank you. That would be Ryan Cannell, the angriest man on the internet. Hat tip, Ryan Cannell. And there he goes. Let's see here. This one, hat tip, yellow flash. I'm going to play a little bit of this because I want you to get the full story, right? So we start with these wackos, this criminal shakedown consultant organization, these woke weirdos. They're exposed and gamers unite against them. They create this list on Steam to say, hey, just so you know, these are the games they're involved with. If you choose not to spend your money on anything this company is involved, here's a list of their things they're involved. They objected to that, right? They tried to get them banned. And, how did it go for them?
Well, it looks like the attempt to take down the Steam curator has failed. Cabrados shared that it's not going anywhere. You put this out here. No worries. We'll be glad to assist you because we have provided all the information we have for your issue. I'm closing this help request. If you have an unrelated issue, please open a new help request. Happy to help. Steam support. CYR. It is with great pride that I say based Valve. Thank you at Valve Software for respecting your players' freedom of choice. And also thank you, Lord Gabe, for building such an amazing platform for us. We are here to stay. So apparently all the reporting done on the Steam Curator by Reset Era and Games Media and everything failed. It was a complete failure. The Steam Curator will stay. And it's also well over 200,000 followers at this point. There's also a discussion group that is still running strong. They failed to take that one down as well. So big W, really taking away the power that they used to have. And they are trying. Boy, are they trying. As you know, Kotaku kind of kicked things off the other day. They put out this piece of shit article. Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't do what some gamers think it does.
Yep, here comes the gaslighting. This is the media always launders the lies of these wokies, right? It's so incredible. These people are allergic to free expression. They are allergic to free will, and they are allergic to anything that is just truth. They're just allergic to it. Like they have to lie for everything that they do. They can never stand upon their principles proudly. Why? Because wokeness literally doesn't even believe in an objective reality. They don't have principles. Principles require you to sometimes do things that are uncomfortable or inconvenient for you because your principle applies even if your personal desires and wishes do not, right? They don't have that. So they have to lie to cover everything that they do because they don't actually have the courage of their convictions. They know deep down what they are. They have built a movement on resentment, bitterness, jealousy, and envy. And those are all debilitating, destructive emotions that if that is all you're running on, it will run your life into the ditch. It will run your work into the ditch. Diversity is not your enemy in a live service world. See, this is a perfect line to explain what I mean when I say that they are arguing with positions we do not have, which is a great turn of phrase. Hat tip Eric July. It's just a brilliant way to put it. They create straw man arguments, claims we're not making. One of the best examples was someone was interviewing. Was it like Nia DaCosta, or it was one of those directors of one of the recent failures, Marvel, Madam Web. I forget. It might have been S.J. Clarkson. I forget who. But they basically just asked her, about the blowback from the film. And this babe was like, well, it's just a fact that there are certain fans that just do not want to see strong women in a movie. Said no one ever. No one has ever said that. And this is the other lie. Nerds don't like diversity. Nerds hate anything that is different from them. And they have been living in a fantasy land where everything is white, everything is straight, and everything is Christian. And they long for an era when we can go back to that, which is the exact reverse opposite of what it is to be a nerd. Like, we are the ones who fell in love with Star Trek. Star Trek, about a captain from a multicultural, multi-species, peaceful democratic organization exploring the stars, peacefully seeking out new life and new civilizations, standing for the principles of liberty for all, and all are created equal. That was what Kirk, Picard, Sisko, Janeway, Archer all stand for. We have Doctor Who, which is a story about exploring different times, different cultures, different worlds. We have fantasy worlds, like Tolkien's world, in which you have a dwarf and an elf who are racial enemies who ultimately wind up becoming the best of friends by the end of the story. We nerds, which all of these stories I mentioned features, strong women characters, such as Éowyn. Éowyn, one of the best characters in Lord of the Rings, kills the Lord of the Nazgul on the battlefield. We made those things popular. Nerds did, because we wanted to see babes in armor. We're like, boob armor. Yes, please, more of that. We wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons and talk about elves and dwarves and men learning to work together. Like, we are the pioneers of actual diversity. So this is a lie. This is a lie that we are anti-diversity. And so they say diversity is not your enemy. Yeah, we know that. We wrote the book on that, you loons. We did. You're arguing something that doesn't exist. This is a great video also by Yellow Flash. Hat tip link is in the description. So I just wanted to cover those basic stories to say, folks, and this has been a theme on this channel for weeks now. They're losing. That brings me to the pièce de résistance, folks. Should we abandon the word woke? Have we overused it? Has it had its day? Well, I came across this on Friday Night Tights last Friday. Hat tip nerdrotic. I know this is the fellowship stream. I don't usually include this many of their videos, but we'll just run with it. They had the Soska sisters on, which are directors, creatives in their own right. They are the writers of Rippaverse's new Yaira comic, which is coming out. And so they were guest starring on Friday Night Tights, and being industry insiders, they had this insight to share. And I want you to hear what they said.
And you guys keep talking about this. The last few weeks, everybody has used the word woke like the kiss of death. And they're taking projects that they were like, you could tell they really thought were precious, wonderful projects. And they're like, oh, have you guys heard that woke is bad? We can't do that anymore. And me and Jen are just kind of like, oh, really? Oh, yeah, it's catching on now that everything's on fire, eh?
Point by the Soska sisters. They're in the industry, and what are they hearing? They're, oh, no, you know what? I heard woke is not popular. We shouldn't do that. Folks, criticizing wokeness, it is working, and it has worked. Because we march on. We of the fellowship, we of the customers, we of the audience. We have rejected your sick worldview that inverts morality, turns heroes into villains, villains into heroes. We have rejected nihilism. We have rejected pessimism. We have rejected your sick worldview, and now at last the world sees you for what you are. And a new age is dawning. It is the Iron Age. It's an age of independent creators. We will build new things. I feel enlivened. I feel invigorated. We stand at the dawn of a renaissance. And in the words of the Joker, you get what you deserve, sweet baby ink. So that's all I have to say about that. So congratulations, hat tip to you, you of the audience, you of the smart, brilliant audience, as Dakota Johnson correctly observes. You have seen the work they have on offer, and you have sent it packing, and whether they like it or not, they are now hearing your voice. So that's for you. That is for you. We will continue using the word woke. We will continue hanging it around their necks like an albatross until the day the last wokey gives up their campaign of censorship, intimidation, doxing, coercion, threatening. When that stops, well, then we'll be friends again. Speaking at least for myself. Not a day before. We will fight them on the beaches. We shall fight them in the fields. We shall never surrender. We shall defend our nerdverse. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you loved this clip. Please like and subscribe. And did you know you can join us live every Sunday on the Captain's Cast live show? That's at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, every Sunday. You can join me and the rest of the crew in the live chat as we set sail for more amazing adventures in entertainment, film, video games, etc. And until next time, my dear sailors and starnauts, this is Captain Garrett saying, I will see you out there.